Everything's torqued down. We're done with that. Spins nice and freely, no play at all. Came out pretty good. So now I'm just gonna bag it and keep it clean for next time. I gauged all the specifications on the oil pump. Everything's fine. So right now I'm just re-lubing it. I'm re-lubing it and just reassembling it. So you can see it's all nice. That's how it goes. We mounted on the oil pump. We torqued it all down. Now we're just torquing down the water pump. I have to wait for my pistons to come in, so we're going to hold off on putting the rest together for today. Just do some cleaning on some of the parts before I reassemble it. That's the fun part. There it is. Alright, my pistons and rods came in today. I'm all excited, like a little boy in a candy shop. These are nice. So I got wisco pistons, Eagle rods, H-beam rods, really nice. These things will support over 500 horsepower. ARP bolts came in, nothing special there. Then I got my ACL bearings. Still waiting for my head gasket, Cometic head gasket, and my valve springs. The car valve springs haven't come in yet, but here we go. These are 8.8 compression. Okay, I put in the pin on this side, and now I'm just going to lubricate it. Lubricate both sides. I got this other side already. Actually, lubricate this as well. Okay, I'm putting the front end right there. Slide in the wrist pin. Let's slide all the way in like that. Now it's time to get this in there. These are a little difficult to do without the special tool, so usually want to start with one end first. They have a little groove in there. Use something plastic. I'm using the back end of this so you don't scratch it. There you go. You want to shove it all the way in, make sure you hear it click for it. There you go. Double check it, and you're done. Okay, we lubricated the cylinder walls. We're going to check the end gap on these. So, kind of just compress it. Use the piston to square it off. You want to get it towards the bottom of the stroke. Use the manual to check what it's supposed to be at, what the gapping is supposed to be. This one says 0.019 for that is the number 2 piston ring. So 0.019 right here, inches. Actually, this one's pretty good. It's a little bit tight, so I'll show you how to grind it. Okay, I put a file in the vise, and I'm going to grind it. You want to grind in one motion usually, on one side. And then just check to make sure it's still squared off. You want to make sure it's squared off, it butts up nicely. Then afterwards I'm going to reinsert it and check the gap one more time until you get what you want. So. Okay, I'm going to start with the piston rings and the oil ring. You want to start off with the oil rings since it's at the bottom. Insert one side in. Just like that. Make sure it doesn't overlap. Okay, we're good. Let me put the guide pins. Start off on the bottom. the top. Okay. The number 2 piston ring. I'll usually have a marking what needs to go up top. Either a dot, this one has writing.
Yeah.
And the top one, same way.
Eli.
Okay, that's it. Okay, we aligned the piston rings according to the manual, how they want us to do it. You want one on the opposite directions. Then you just use this tool right here, just to compress it. Once it's compressed, we're just going to insert it like this with that notch towards the front of the engine, and then we're just going to use the butt of a hammer just to beat it down. So, we gotta lubricate that first. So my parts finally came in, and I assembled everything. Put the cams in, put the lifters in, the valves. I bled one of the lifters, but you really don't need to bleed them all if you're going to let it sit like this overnight, because the pressure on these will cause them to go down enough and you shouldn't bend no valves. The way you bleed these lifters on the 428 engines, they don't have a release hole like the 4G63s do. So you just put them in a vise and squeeze them down, and then they'll release. I already assembled it all, torqued down my head, put ARP head studs, Cometic head gasket. My brother, he ported all this out for me, so that saved me a lot of money. It's really nice. He put a gasket on there and ported it out to the size of the gasket. He did both sides. Came out pretty good. So that was cool. He ported this out as well. I don't know if you could see, but it's pretty smooth. He polished it himself. Okay, I'm going to show an example of how he ported it. He used this gasket right here. This is a stock gasket. Put it around there. I used a marker, went around the edges. And you could buy a port kit, a tool kit that goes on a grinder for about $100, and then also a polishing kit, and do it yourself. But you gotta be careful not to mess it up.